Let's, in 2022, debut a brand new segment called Sully Speak. We're going to listen to a quote from head coach Mike Sullivan and just basically react to it.
Anytime you get up that amount of goals early in a game, as a coaching staff, we're always concerned because there's so much hockey left to play, and to a certain extent, you're fighting against human nature because it's just my experience of being around the game is, as much as you try to fend it off, it just seems like it's human nature to want to exhale, and you don't bring the same level of intensity. You don't bring the same attention to detail that's got you the lead at that point. And where there's so much hockey left to be played, at that point, and listen, when you're in this game long enough, you're on both sides of those scores. We've been in those positions as well when we've been down a bunch of goals, and when you're in that position, to a certain extent, you've got nothing to lose. So now you're playing against a team that's playing with a free spirit, and that's a dangerous combination. So we're always concerned when you get up that amount of goals that early in a game. But it just seems like coming off this break, there's been a lot of high-scoring games for whatever reason, whether it's the amount of time that's been off. Normally in a Christmas break, teams aren't used to getting the amount of time that we've got off here. And so, we knew there was going to be a little bit of it was going to be a work in progress trying to get back into the game mindset. But, I love the start we had. I thought we brought a ton of energy at the start of the game. We talked about simplifying the game. I thought we did. We got rewarded, but as a result, I think when you get up that many goals, it's almost like you're fighting against your own human nature to make sure you stay diligent.
So that was Mike Sullivan on the basically collapse of the Pittsburgh Penguins in the last period and a half there before they were able to notch that power play goal. So Horwat, what do you think of that quote? And it is a little bit longer than what we're normally going to do here, but since it's episode 200 and there was a lot to unpack in the game, we had a long quote there. So what did you think about Mike Sullivan's quote on how that game unfolded?
It wasn't as much of a Mike Sullivan word salad as I would have expected from a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really. There was a bunch of, coach talk, which is spewing stuff that you really can't take one way or the other because it's confusing. But I think he hit good points that every fan was thinking as well. It's, in so many words, they took the foot off the pedal because they got up so high so early,
mm-hmm.
but there was a ton of game left. And I was reading Twitter comments from Sharks fans saying that this was going to be Bob Bugner's last game. Now, is his seat hot? I don't know what's going on in San Jose that much for all that. But there was a ton of comments saying he should be fired after this, I guess. And the team's doing well, you said. So that's a wild conclusion to jump to for Sharks fans after one game like this. Odds are he just went into the intermission, whipped his boys into shape, took a period to get there because, again, second period was boring. But then in the third, they came out like a house of fire. In the first 5 minutes, brought the game within one. That, shows something that the Sharks were able to take advantage of with the Penguins, and that is what Sullivan said, the human nature to continue playing despite being up so high. You feel like you got the game in the bag. You should never feel like that, but it's human nature.
Mm-hmm. I know that he was probably not as cool about this with his team. I'm sure he had some choice words for them, but he's coming in calm, cool, and collected after a game like that, which is pretty much Mike Sullivan. He's a slick cat, if you will. He's a guy that doesn't usually show too much emotion to the media. He'll show it on the bench, and then sometimes we'll see what we saw in Calgary a few weeks back where he's just noticeably upset. But what he calls human nature, I just say it's Penguins nature. We've seen this so many times, and it might happen in other franchises. It might happen in other sports, but it seems like it happens to the Penguins, not just when they're up 6-1 in a game, because that doesn't come very often. But if they get up early in a game, or even if they have a 2+ goal lead after the second, it seems like they always have the tendency to step off of the pedal instead of putting it through the other team's throat. And that's the problem, which understandably, yes, there's going to be part of it that it's like, okay, we're up by so much, we can just glide through the rest of this game, take our 2 points, go home, enjoy the rest of the day, because it's a matinee game for the first time this year, basically since New Year's. But no, it's Penguins nature. We saw it a couple weeks ago when they played in Washington. They had a 3-1 lead. That game ended up, I believe, 4-2, but it was 3-2 and they were up 3-0, I should say, in that game. And you could just feel that they had no momentum going and they needed a last ditch effort getting that 4-2 goal to be able to even stick within it. And I believe the game ended 4-3, even more that it was closer. So this is Penguins nature for me. Don't give me that human nature crap. Also trying to say that, oh, well, we've seen across the league a lot of high scoring games. We have. The Sharks played an 8-7 game against the Arizona Coyotes earlier in the week. There's been a couple of large goal games, but that doesn't mean that you should be in that position when you're up by a score of 6-1. You should be able to do what you did in the second period, protect the house, play better in net if you're Casey DeSmith, and just be better altogether, like the whole team. Like it's at the end of the day, they won the game. They played really well at portions. They played really bad at portions. But you look at this, and with Sully saying this, it's basically saying, I'm going to tell you guys that it's human nature and try to fall on the grenade for my team, but they're going to be bag skating tomorrow at practice.
Sure. And for what it is worth, the Penguins it's not that they played a good 20 minutes and called it. They played good throughout most of the game. There was the first 5 minutes of the third, and let's just say some minutes here and there in the second. But it wasn't a totally awful game from the Penguins.
No, it was not.
I mean, like I mentioned, that goalie, Sawchenko, looked phenomenal. So to start, he had some very big saves. Rodriguez should have had a hat trick way earlier in the game.
Yeah.
He played very well. So it was part letting your foot off the pedal and part getting goalied. Honestly, that's how I felt watching, and that's how it felt. I feel like that's kind of the sentiment that Sullivan was preaching back as well. Like, yeah, we definitely should not have given up 5 goals, but at the same time, we played great throughout the game. Again, despite first 5 minutes of the third, and the second period, I just don't remember a lot of. That's when Sawchenko made a couple of huge saves. So obviously we were trying there. But at the same time, you mentioned it being Penguins' nature, and we brought it up before the Devils game. That Devils game, we gave up 6 in the third. That's what it was. We went up 6-0 through the first 2 periods. I pulled the score sheet up. 6-0 through the first 2 periods. Tristan Jarry shutting them out, and a team with Aaron Dell on it, because Aaron Dell did come in this game, but he did not come in yesterday. The Devils came back and scored 6 in the third. This was at home as well. But luckily enough, Sidney Crosby, of all people, was able to score in the third as well to give us the 7-6 victory. We're still getting wins out of this, which is good. And in most occasions at the end of the season, they will ask how many and not how, or however the saying goes that I just had, but forgot last second. But regardless, it's a win overall, but you got to win the right way. It's like the Calgary game that I did not see and heard how mad Sullivan was and thought we got a point out of it. How mad could he have been? That's a very good team. Now I see it. That looked bad going down, or not going down. That looked bad giving up 4 quick ones like that.
Yeah. So we're going to close the book on the game against San Jose. At the end of the day, it is 2 points for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the standings. They continue to try to chase the top 3 in the Metropolitan Division. And we're going to take a quick break here. But before we do, we want to announce this giveaway. We're closing in on 1,000 followers on Twitter, which we're very excited about. And we're thankful for everybody that has followed us up to this point. Excited for all of you new followers that are just joining us here from episode 200 on. But to celebrate that, we're going to be giving away a new Penguins third jersey. We weren't really hiding that fact. We just weren't saying it in plain English. Obviously, when we mentioned leading up to this episode that Snoop Dogg would approve, that was pretty much a nod to say, we're giving away a Penguins third jersey. You will also be getting, and it's behind me here, a 90s throwback poster as well. So a nice little addition there to tie into the Penguins third jersey. To enter, we're going to be posting it here in just a couple hours. But to enter this giveaway, you have to follow Ice-Burgh Podcast on Twitter, retweet the contest post, and tag 2 friends in the comments below. But that's not all. because if you want a second chance, if you want a better odd, you can go and get a second entry into this giveaway by giving us a 5-star rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, who now has ratings. Screenshot that review or rating, drop it in the same comment section under the same post, and you will be entered twice for this giveaway to get a new Penguins third jersey, the diagonal Pittsburgh jersey, if you're not aware of which one we're talking about. So make sure you head over to our podcast Twitter feed at Ice-Burgh Podcast. Enter by the first way, following us, retweeting, and tagging 2 friends. Then you're officially entered. You have a chance. But if you do the second one and you go the extra mile, give us a review, screenshot it, and drop it also in the comments, I'll put your name in there twice.
I just found out Spotify does ratings. So here's me going to, there's the camera. Here's me going to rate our show 5 stars on Spotify because that's what I listen to it on. And it's, everything you need to hear from Penguins hockey there. Rated 5 stars. It's good stuff. And I didn't know Spotify had ratings. That's new. And what else? Oh, yeah. I know today's Twitter is going to be a lot of Big Ben content, and it should be. But take 2 seconds, take 2 minutes out of your day and throw some tip of the iceberg content out there. Win yourself a absolutely beautiful jersey that is damn near impossible to find anywhere. You can get one just by 2 simple minutes.
Yep. We will be selecting a winner on Monday, January 17th, 2 weeks after this episode airs, prior to the Penguins taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll do a live video where we just pick the drawing winner, say congratulations, clap a little bit, and then watch the Penguins take on the Vegas Golden Knights. But that is going to be it for this segment. Come back in the second segment. We're going to talk COVID for the Pittsburgh Penguins and look ahead at the schedule coming up for this team. We'll be right back.